In 1909, in the small coastal town of Hamamatsu, Japan, a 22-year-old carpenter's son named Michio Suzuki made a decision that would reshape global transportation forever. While his neighbors crafted traditional wooden furniture and tools, Michio was obsessed with something entirely different: the intricate mechanics of textile looms. This wasn't just casual interest. This was the beginning of an empire that would eventually put millions of motorcycles and cars on roads worldwide. But here's what makes Michio's story truly remarkable. He didn't start by building engines or vehicles. He started by making practical improvements to an industry that was ripe for modernization. And the breakthrough that launched his company came from solving everyday problems that textile manufacturers faced in their daily operations. Michio Suzuki founded Suzuki Loom Works in 1909 with a vision focused on practical innovation. Japanese textile production relied heavily on manual and semi-automatic looms that required constant human operation. These machines were labor-intensive and produced inconsistent results. While Western manufacturers were adopting more mechanized looms, the technology was expensive and often poorly suited to Japanese manufacturing conditions and local requirements. Suzuki saw an opportunity to create better solutions. Instead of simply importing foreign technology, he would design looms specifically optimized for Japanese textile production needs. His first innovation was an improved semi-automatic loom that could operate with reduced human intervention while maintaining the precision that Japanese textiles demanded. The machine featured practical improvements, including an automatic shuttle-changing mechanism that reduced the need for operators to manually replace empty shuttles. The loom revolution. The technical breakthrough that established Suzuki's reputation came in the late 1920s with the introduction of his fully automatic loom. This machine incorporated several practical features that gave it competitive advantages over both domestic and foreign alternatives. The loom could detect broken threads automatically and stop operation to prevent defective fabric production. It featured an improved tension control system that maintained more consistent thread pressure throughout the weaving process. Most importantly, Suzuki's loom was designed for reliability, affordability, and ease of maintenance. Unlike some complex foreign machines that required specialized technicians, Suzuki looms could be serviced by local mechanics using standard tools. This serviceability advantage proved crucial in rural Japanese textile operations, where technical support was limited and cost control was essential. The automatic loom's success transformed Suzuki Loom Works from a small local manufacturer into one of Japan's leading textile machinery companies. By the early 1930s, Suzuki looms were operating in textile mills throughout Japan and beginning to attract attention in international markets. The company's reputation for reliability and practical innovation had been firmly established. But Michio Suzuki was already looking beyond textiles. He recognized that Japan's growing industrial economy would create demand for new types of machinery and transportation. The precision manufacturing skills and mechanical innovation capabilities his company had developed could potentially be applied to entirely different products. Early automotive experiments. Around 1937, Michio Suzuki began experimenting with automobile development alongside the company's continuing textile machinery business. This wasn't an immediate strategic pivot, but rather an exploration of new opportunities while maintaining the core loom business that provided the company's financial foundation. Suzuki's automotive prototypes were remarkably advanced for a Japanese company with no automotive experience. The experimental vehicles featured liquid-cooled four-stroke engines with overhead valves, a design that was sophisticated by Japanese standards of the time. The car's lightweight construction and efficient engines delivered good fuel economy, a characteristic that would later become a Suzuki trademark. The prototype vehicles incorporated engineering approaches that reflected lessons learned from precision loom design, creating mechanical systems that emphasized both reliability and serviceability. The attention to detail in these experimental cars suggested that Suzuki could potentially compete with established automotive manufacturers, though the prototypes never progressed to actual production. However, Japan's entry into World War II in 1941 ended Suzuki's automotive experiments before they could be fully developed. The Japanese government redirected industrial capacity toward military production, and civilian automobile development was prohibited. Suzuki Loom Works returned its full focus to textile machinery production, but also began manufacturing military-related production, including various components for the war effort, wartime adaptation, and survival. The war years tested Suzuki's adaptability and engineering capabilities in ways that would prove valuable to the company's post-war development. Military-related contracts required precision manufacturing that built upon the company's existing expertise in mechanical systems. Suzuki engineers refined production techniques and quality control methods during this period. Despite material shortages and the challenges of wartime production, Suzuki maintained operations throughout the conflict. The company's ability to adapt to changing requirements and work with limited resources demonstrated organizational flexibility that would become essential in the competitive post-war market. When Japan surrendered in August 1945, Suzuki faced the same challenge as every Japanese manufacturer: how to survive in a devastated economy with limited domestic demand for industrial products. The textile industry had been severely disrupted by wartime conditions and material shortages. Military contracts had ended abruptly. The company needed to identify new products and new markets to ensure survival. The motorcycle breakthrough. Michio Suzuki's solution was both practical and forward-thinking. In 1952, he decided to enter the motorcycle market with a product designed specifically for Japan's post-war transportation needs. The country's infrastructure had been damaged during the war, making automobile transportation impractical for most people. Motorcycles could navigate damaged roads and provide affordable personal transportation for a population working to rebuild their lives. Suzuki's first motorcycle, the Power Free, addressed Japan's specific post-war transportation challenges. Rather than building a traditional motorcycle from scratch, Suzuki created a motorized bicycle that could be pedaled like a normal bicycle or powered by a small two-stroke engine. This dual-mode operation made the Power Free accessible to riders who were intimidated by conventional motorcycles, though similar pedal assist designs were being explored by other manufacturers as well. The Power Free's 36 cubic centimeters two-stroke engine produced approximately 1 horsepower, making it perfectly suited to Japanese conditions. The engine was simple, reliable, and fuel-efficient. More importantly, it could be manufactured using production techniques that Suzuki had developed for textile machinery. The company could build motorcycles without investing in entirely new manufacturing equipment. The motorcycle achieved strong early sales that exceeded expectations. Japanese consumers embraced the Power Free's practicality and affordability. The machine provided reliable transportation at a fraction of the cost of an automobile, and its bicycle-like operation made it accessible to riders with no motorcycle experience. Within a few years, Suzuki had sold the Power Free in large numbers and established itself as a significant player in Japan's emerging motorcycle industry. Strategic focus shift. The success of the Power Free convinced Michio Suzuki that motorcycles represented a major growth opportunity for the company. In 1954, Suzuki Loom Works changed its name to Suzuki Motor Company, marking a strategic shift in focus toward motorcycle development while continuing textile machinery operations. This represented a significant commitment to the motorcycle business, rather than an immediate abandonment of the loom business that had built the company. Suzuki's next motorcycle, the Diamond Free, incorporated significant technical improvements over the Power Free. The engine displacement increased to 60 cubic centimeters, and power output approximately doubled. More importantly, the Diamond Free featured a proper motorcycle frame instead of the bicycle-based design of its predecessor. This gave the machine better handling and durability, while maintaining the simplicity that had made the Power Free successful. The Diamond Free's two-stroke engine incorporated several features that would become associated with Suzuki motorcycles. The engine design emphasized reliability and fuel efficiency while providing adequate performance for Japanese road conditions. These technical refinements demonstrated Suzuki's growing expertise in small engine design and motorcycle engineering. By the mid-1950s, Suzuki was producing tens of thousands of motorcycles annually and had become one of Japan's major motorcycle manufacturers. The company's rapid growth attracted attention from international markets, particularly in countries where small, fuel-efficient motorcycles were in demand. International expansion. Michio Suzuki recognized that long-term success required international expansion. Suzuki began exporting motorcycles to various international markets in the early 1960s, testing demand and building distribution networks. The company's first overseas manufacturing facility was established in Thailand in 1967, followed by facilities in other Southeast Asian countries. These operations allowed Suzuki to serve growing regional markets while taking advantage of favorable economic conditions. The international expansion strategy focused on markets where Suzuki's strengths in small, efficient motorcycles were most valued. Southeast Asian countries had large populations of potential motorcycle buyers who needed affordable, reliable transportation. Suzuki's lightweight motorcycles were well suited to these markets' infrastructure and economic conditions. Suzuki's entry into the American market in 1964 marked a significant milestone in the company's global expansion. The United States represented the world's largest motorcycle market, but it was dominated by large, powerful machines that were very different from Suzuki's small displacement motorcycles. Suzuki would need to prove that Japanese engineering could compete with established American and European manufacturers. The company found success with models like the T20 Super 6, a 250 cubic centimeter two-stroke motorcycle that delivered strong performance for its displacement class. The T20's lightweight construction and advanced engine technology allowed it to provide good acceleration and superior fuel economy compared to many competitors in its category. American riders were impressed by the combination of performance and efficiency that Suzuki motorcycles offered. Racing development and technical innovation. Suzuki's commitment to racing proved important to the company's technical development and marketing efforts. In 1962, Suzuki entered the Isle of Man TT races, the world's most prestigious motorcycle competition. The company's 50cc and 125cc racing motorcycles demonstrated advanced technology that would eventually influence production models. Suzuki's racing motorcycles featured innovative two-stroke engines with multiple cylinders and sophisticated exhaust systems. The 50cc racing bikes used twin-cylinder engines that produced approximately 10 to 12 horsepower, representing impressive output for such small displacement. The 125cc racers featured four-cylinder engines that could achieve very high RPM and produce substantial power in race trim, though these extreme specifications were not practical for street use. These racing efforts established Suzuki's reputation for technical innovation and performance engineering. The company's ability to extract strong power from small displacement engines became well regarded among motorcycle enthusiasts. Racing victories also provided valuable marketing exposure in international markets, where Suzuki was still building brand recognition. The technical knowledge gained from racing competition benefited Suzuki's production motorcycles. Advanced engine designs, improved materials, and refined manufacturing techniques developed for racing were gradually adapted for street motorcycles where practical. This technology transfer gave Suzuki production bikes performance advantages in their respective categories. Return to automotive development. In 1962, Michio Suzuki returned to his automotive ambitions with the introduction of the Suzuki Fronte, a small passenger car designed specifically for Japan's emerging K-car market. The Fronte represented everything Suzuki had learned about efficient engineering and practical design during more than a decade of motorcycle production, adapted to meet Japan's unique automotive regulations and urban transportation needs. The Fronte was designed to comply with Japan's key car regulations, which limited engine displacement, overall dimensions, and power output in exchange for favorable taxation and licensing requirements. The car's 360 cubic centimeter two-stroke engine was specifically engineered for this application, emphasizing fuel efficiency and urban drivability rather than high performance. The compact dimensions allowed it to navigate narrow streets and fit into small parking spaces that were common in Japanese cities. Despite its tiny size, the Fronte incorporated thoughtful engineering features that demonstrated Suzuki's technical capabilities. The car featured independent front suspension, efficient steering systems, and lightweight construction that maximized interior space while minimizing weight. These design elements reflected Suzuki's focus on practical engineering solutions. The Fronte's success in Japan encouraged Suzuki to develop additional automobiles for both domestic and international markets. The company's automotive division grew throughout the 1960s and 1970s, introducing a series of small cars that emphasized fuel efficiency, reliability, and affordability. Suzuki automobiles found particular success in markets where fuel costs were high and compact dimensions were advantageous. Engineering philosophy and legacy. Michio Suzuki passed away in 1982, but his influence on the company and its approach to engineering continued long after his death. The engineering philosophy he established at Suzuki emphasized efficiency, reliability, and practical innovation over raw power or luxury features. This approach proved successful in markets around the world, where customers valued substance over prestige. Suzuki's focus on small, efficient engines became increasingly relevant as fuel prices rose and environmental concerns grew. The company's expertise in lightweight construction and fuel-efficient powertrains positioned it well for an era when automotive manufacturers were increasingly required to prioritize efficiency alongside performance. The manufacturing approaches that Suzuki developed, beginning with textile machinery and refined through motorcycle and automobile production, emphasized quality control, continuous improvement, and practical problem-solving. These principles became integral to Suzuki's corporate culture and influenced the company's approach to new product development. Today, Suzuki continues to operate according to many of the principles that Michio Suzuki established over a century ago. The company remains focused on practical, efficient transportation solutions that serve real customer needs rather than pursuing prestige or luxury markets. This consistency of purpose has allowed Suzuki to maintain its position as a significant global manufacturer despite intense competition from much larger companies. The enduring impact. The story of Michio Suzuki demonstrates how technical innovation, strategic vision, and adaptability can transform a small local business into a global industrial presence. From textile looms to motorcycles to automobiles, Suzuki consistently identified emerging opportunities and developed products that served genuine market needs rather than chasing trends or prestige. Suzuki's success also illustrates the importance of engineering excellence in building a sustainable business. The company's reputation for reliability and efficiency was earned through decades of careful attention to design details and manufacturing quality. This reputation became one of Suzuki's most valuable assets and a foundation for its continued success. Perhaps most importantly, Michio Suzuki's story shows how a commitment to practical innovation can create lasting value for customers and society. The transportation solutions that Suzuki developed provided affordable mobility for millions of people around the world. The company's focus on efficiency and reliability helped establish new standards for practical transportation. The legacy of Michio Suzuki extends beyond the company that bears his name. His approach to engineering and manufacturing influenced other Japanese manufacturers and contributed to Japan's emergence as a global leader in automotive technology. The principles he established continue to guide companies around the world as they develop transportation solutions that balance performance, efficiency, and affordability for diverse global markets.